Cheers and salutations. Welcome, one and all, to Americans Learn. My name is Kit. I hope all of you are doing well. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that ring bell notification. That way, all of you are made aware when we upload new content upon our YouTube channel. And today is Christmas Day right now, so I'm recording this. And well, something is plucking at my heartstring, and well, I'm going to check it out. It's from Sabaton History, and by the way, shout out to you, our beautiful audience that told us about Sabaton History, because all of you hip, cool cats are awesome. And I hope that 2024 will be a successful year for all of you. And you know the rules. When we watch Sabaton History, we definitely check out a music video, as we should. So first we get our learn on, and then we have fun. However, please support the original content creator. That link is in the description box below, so it's the right thing. It's the one thing to do. And I know all of you are absolutely stunning individuals, so you'll do the right thing and support Sabaton History, and all their social media. So enough of me talking. It's Christmas Day. Time is burning, so I can have some fun myself. Take care, folks, and let's get ready to play this video in a 3, a 2, a 1.
And this is Sabaton History. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of episode. Normally, we pick one of Sabaton's songs, and I talk about the history, and then we do an interview about that. But today, we're not doing that, right?
Today, it's not actually a song. It's an introduction. And today, it's the Diary of an Unknown Soldier.
Diary of an Unknown Soldier. Now, before we get into the history part, I'd like to say a big thanks to World of Tanks. Now, this is not a sponsorship or a collaboration or anything, but as you might be able to see, we're not in our regular studio in Bavaria because he's going off on tour of Russia, and I'm not going to be filming there for a couple of weeks, so we had to find somewhere else to shoot. So we are in Minsk. I came down to Minsk from Stockholm, and he's got all his friends at World of Tanks, and they said, yeah, you can use our studio, which is really cool. So big thanks to World of Tanks. And now,
that is
Diary
awesome.
of an Unknown Soldier.
I remember the Argonne, 1918. The sounds of that battle still haunt me to this day. Machine gun fire from enemy lines. The sickening sound of a bayonet tearing through human flesh.
Oh, God.
A soldier next to me firing his sidearm in desperation. A rhythm of death. A symphony of war.
From their land as they made their stand, they stood strong and the legend still lives on.
The dance begins. From 1,000 guns came endless howling, crashing, and banging. Great flashes lit up the sky as the earth trembled under crushing blows. Then came the screams of the dying. Dear God in heaven, let this morning be past. Pulses racing, each man held on in the jaws of hell, and we stood firm, shoulder to shoulder, but the enemy kept bringing up fresh troops. Our little band kept shrinking. The deadly hail of lead tore first one, and then another of us away. We melted away like snow in summer. All around us was death and flames. This quote is taken from a diary of a soldier from the Great War. I know his identity and which army he served with, but reading it, you have to ask yourself, does it matter? Could this not be the experience of so many others, of thousands, of hundreds of thousands of frontline soldiers? Does it matter if it was on the Western Front, in the Isonzo Valley, the Carpathian Mountains, Palestine, Galicia, or in Africa? Millions of men on all sides went out to fight the war of wars, only to lose their lives. Many simply vanished, never to be found again, their bodies sinking in mud, water, sand. The death toll of the German Empire, the Ottomans, Austria-Hungary, France, Russia, everyone. They all lost millions of men to the war, resting in long rows of graves. But many of those graves are empty or are filled with the remains of someone who has never been really identified. The British Empire lost around 1 million men. Almost half of them were listed as missing at the time of the armistice and were eventually presumed as dead. 170,000 of them were never found, never identified. They are the unknown. They are the lost. They lie somewhere, perhaps in unmarked graves, or their remains might have been dumped with others in a shell hole, or were strewn to the four winds by the violence of war. For the relatives, this was an unnecessarily cruel fate. Their loved one had given up everything for his country, his life, his future, and now he didn't even have a final resting place. Devoid of any closure, all they knew was that he had gone missing, presumed dead. Where had he died? What were the circumstances?
Give me a minute. Ooh. There's a ninja cutting onions. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to record this on Christmas Day. You know, this year has been a real big challenge for me, so yeah. I hope all of you have been having a great Christmas and a great year. Oh boy, I still got a little bit more to go through on this one. I wasn't ready for this. Usually I made more stoic stuff.
Was it quick, or was it painful? Or maybe he didn't die and he'd been captured, or he lay in some hospital long forgotten. Who could say? If a rank-and-file soldier died, it was often just a simple stock message that was sent out, that he was a good soldier, admired by his comrades, that his death was quick and painless. This, of course, helped little to ease the pain. Even after the war ended, the streets were always full of women wearing full mourning dress, all in black, shrouded in long veils. They were tragically withdrawn from the rest of the world. For Great Britain, this was problematic. Their dead lay on the continent, in Belgium and France, and it was debated if they should bring the bodies back to bring closure to the families. At the end of 1915, the French government had made the promise that it would provide a permanent resting place for all the French war dead. Every French soldier would have a gravesite after the war, paid by the government, and Britain had soon followed suit, preparing to buy land in France and Belgium in perpetuity. But such a promise was easily made during wartime. Now it was time to make good on it, and the politicians hesitated. Meanwhile, people began traveling the battlefields on their own, searching for a sign of their loved ones or a hint of their final resting place. Whole tourist groups went to the last known battle areas to find some sort of a clue, or at least a token or memento that would remind people of their existence. What they encountered were many graves, whose descriptions read nothing more than a soldier of the Great War. Nearly every family began to have some sort of small shrine in their home, and many local communities created memorials of their own. But for many politicians, such individual forms of remembrance were seen as a growing and dangerous disconnect between the grieving families and their government, so it was time to act. At first, Britain created the cenotaph in 1919, a large monument in Whitehall that in itself signified a symbolic tribute to honor the glorious dead and the unknown comrades of the war, though the term comrades would soon be changed to warriors because of comrade being tied so closely with the Russian Revolution. The term cenotaph stems from the Greek words kenos and taphos, meaning empty grave, and was specifically meant to be with no decorations and with no glorification. But the empty tomb was, after all, just that, an empty tomb. Despite its strong aura, people felt something was missing. Then the French announced their plan to honor their unknown soldier, their poilu inconnu, by burying the remains of an unidentified French soldier at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. The British agreed to do something similar, deciding that the remains of a British unknown soldier should be exhumed from the earth on the continent and carried back to Britain. He would be an ambassador, a symbolic representation for the dead that never came back, that were still somewhere out there. His funeral was planned for Armistice Day 1920. On November 7th, 1920, 4 field ambulances drove to one of the 4 main battle areas of the British Army on the Western Front: Arras, the Somme, Ypres, and the River Ain. Their instructions were kept secret, but they were each to find and exhume a British soldier buried in one of the many graves that were simply marked unknown. It had to be a grave.
Yeah, normally I pause or maybe add in a funny comment. I think I got gut checked by this video. Wasn't really ready for it. So let me just say something in regards to this. I did 2 tours in Iraq, and I'm proud to say that myself and my Marine brothers, we all came home alive and well and in one piece. The hell was winning the lottery. Everybody came home. And that's the biggest gift of them all. 2 tours, everybody comes home. I don't know about y'all. Mm-mm. But the older I get, the more grateful I am. And just a side note, a while ago when I was cleaning out my grandpa's house, I actually found my great-grandfather's World War I dog tag, as well as some of his photos of when he served. Boy, this video. Whew. Sabaton History. Please support them. They do great work. Do that as a favor. That ninja, I gotta gut check him.
with not a single piece of information about who the soldier was, where he came from, anything other than the fact that he was British, not even what circumstances had led to his death. It was deliberately random because the unidentifiable body from the soils of Flanders or northern France was to stand symbolically for every missing soldier. As each party found their body, they put the remains into a sack, loaded it into the back of the ambulance, and drove to the headquarters at Arras. Each ambulance had a different time of arrival that evening, and the men were immediately ordered back to their units after delivery. Then the corpses were re-examined to make sure that they were, without a doubt, British, but had no other marks that could identify them. Then the 4 bodies were wrapped in the Union Jack flag and put in front of a specially made coffin. At exactly midnight, Brigadier General Wyatt entered the chapel. Without any information, he pointed at one of the bodies. That chosen body was laid in the coffin, while the others were quickly reburied in an unknown grave in the nearby cemetery. A French honor guard kept watch over the body all night, as the British filled 16 barrels with earth from French country. The unknown warrior was to lie under the earth for which he gave his life. He was Tommy Anonyme. The next morning, the coffin was put into a carriage, drawn by 6 black horses to the docks of Boulogne. There, French Marshal Ferdinand Foch was waiting with another honor guard to pay tribute to the British warrior who fell in the Great War for king and country. The coffin was brought on board the British destroyer HMS Verdun, and with a salute of the French shore batteries, returned to the British Isles. The French had done something similar for their poilu inconnu, who was taken to Paris the evening of November 9th. The French authorities had gathered 8 different bodies from the main French battle areas. Initially, it was supposed to be 9, but in one area, it was seemingly impossible to...
Hold on. I gotta get some tissue here real quick. Hang on, folks. Whew. That ninja. It's the ninja that's doing it. You see him, right?
to be 100% certain that the remains were solely French. Such was the devastation on that battlefield that French and German bodies were intermingled even in death. Now, it was never revealed what area it was, although rumors say it was Verdun, but those are rumors. Early on November 11th, the British unknown warrior was draped into a special Union flag, one that had served as altar cloth at Vimy Ridge, at Ypres and Cambrai, and prepared for his final journey. A steel helmet, field webbing, and a sidearm was placed on the coffin, and the carriage made its way through London towards the cenotaph in Whitehall. It was a funeral procession worthy of a field marshal, but it was also simple, without fanfare or celebration. All of London was quiet. Silence fell over the city like a shadow as the carriage moved slowly through the main streets. All along its route, people stood and watched. At precisely 10 minutes to 11, the carriage halted, and King George stepped forward, lay a bouquet of red roses, the commemorative symbol before poppies took over as such, and a wreath of bay leaves on the coffin. The note on the wreath read, "In proud memory of those who died unknown in the war." The overwhelming, oppressive silence was interrupted by the 11th hour as Big Ben struck. Life in all of London, all of Great Britain, all of the empire ground to a halt. Everywhere, people stopped what they were doing and turned to their inner thoughts and prayers. Similar scenes were reported from outside the empire in France, Belgium, Portugal, Italy, Germany, Austria, many other countries. What followed was the great silence of 2 minutes. The first minute was to remember those that fought and came home. The second minute was for those that did not. For everyone who was missing a father, a son, a husband, a brother, or a friend, the man inside the coffin of the unknown warrior represented hope. But not only in what he symbolized. His anonymity meant that there was the slim chance that it actually was that person. This man could be that missing son, father, or brother. This made the coffin of the unknown warrior such a powerful memorial. Both the cenotaph and the tomb of the unknown warrior became cherished symbols of commemoration. People had places to mourn and to put their minds to rest. Every year, they attracted thousands of pilgrims and tourists from Britain and the Commonwealth, and each Armistice Day, they were the center of remembrance. To this day, they are still here to remember the unknown soldier, he who fell in war and never made it back home.
So this introduction was necessary because we have the song Lost Battalion, where we are not using a proper drum kit. We're using what we call the War Machine drum kit.
Yeah, we saw that in
the Lost Battalion.
Yeah.
Joachim was talking about this one, and how he used these sounds to create a drum kit. But we needed to explain it also to the listeners. So we were looking for somebody to explain what these sounds are like and to get a little bit of a story into it.
Can we hear the individual sounds now? Do you have them?
Of course we have.
All right. This is really cool. This is the best thing about this channel is we get to do stuff like this.
Wow. All right. We wrote a story and we had our old friend Jon Schaefer from Iced to record it for us, to explain. And he says the sound of the machine gun, and he said, and then we introduced the sounds. Okay. Then we had a little bit of a tricky situation. What do we call the intro? Do we call it Intro to the Lost Battalion? No, we don't. So we called it The Diary of an Unknown Soldier. Yeah. And then, again, what is an unknown soldier? Well, there was a lot of them in World War I. Yeah. When we were discussing writing songs about World War I, we thought about having a song about unknown soldiers from everywhere. But in the end, we have this intro.
Yeah, but it's cool. Song. But what did he think about it when you guys did this?
Jon, he was excited as hell because he was like, for him, guys, I already thought about making a drum kit out of war sounds, but I haven't done it yet. So you guys raced me to the finish before me. That's what he said, and was like super excited of doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think when he sent back the recordings that he had done with it, it was done with good passion. He has a powerful voice. It fitted very well. We grew up listening to his music. Yeah. So it feels pretty cool to have him as part of us now when he is doing this. And it was it's a little dream from childhood.
Yeah, but one thing though, when you said you were thinking of maybe writing a song about the unknown soldier, and then it became the intro. If you were at some point, I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying if you were at some point to write a song about an unknown soldier, would you make up the life of someone who died, do you think? Or would it be sort of a tribute to all the unknown soldiers? How do you think you'd attack it?
Either we would probably do it by receiving somebody's statement, diary, for example, or somebody's real proper story. Or we would have to do it in a general, so to say, to take it from a general perspective about all the people that were unknown.
Yeah. See, now that's a fantastic breakdown, especially when you're you know, because it's about giving respect. There's a dog outside barking right now too, but especially when it's about giving respect to the people who did pass away during that horrific conflict, the First World War. Um, boy, I think I'll give my final thoughts like once we get done here in the music video. But wow, talk about building up the music, the song, and the story behind it. Oh wow, I think I walked into one big old booby trap, one severe gut check.
We might return to it one day.
I also think it's nice to, as you can see, to branch out the channel a little more and broaden the things we're covering. Of course, we'll still be covering the songs, but there's going to come a day when we run out of the songs,
And we are having some ideas about, obviously now, this is not really a song, but it has a story to it that we wanted to tell. So that's why we choose to also include Diary of an Unknown Soldier.
Now, with, I forget exactly which episode, but it's one that's already come out with Joachim. And we talked about, he said, if you have any ideas for things that you would like us to cover that are Sabaton related and history related, but it's not an individual song, please write to us in the comments and let us know.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah, because we are super excited to get also your feedback about what we can do with the Sabaton History channel in the future.
Because it's really fun. All right, well, that is it for today. We'll see you next time.
Here on Sabaton History channel.
Absolutely.
Thank you everybody for watching, and thank you everybody for supporting. And those who don't do it, click the bell, subscribe, and become a patron. Thank you very much.
That's right. Do that. Do that for Sabaton History. But now I think it's only, just the person telling the song. But let's go ahead and check it out. Diary of an Unknown Soldier. From the official Sabaton page, official lyric video. So let's go ahead and check it out. It's not that long, but let's go ahead and listen to it from the official Sabaton YouTube channel. So let's play it, and sorry for some of that waterworks. It's gone. That ninja's done cutting onions. He's making a really delicious Christmas meal for me. So there you go. Let's listen.
I remember the Argonne, 1918. The sounds of that battle still haunt me to this day. Machine gun fire from enemy lines. The sickening sound of a bayonet tearing through human flesh. A soldier next to me firing his sidearm in desperation. All these sounds still echo in my mind. And is conducted by Death himself. It all comes together as music. A rhythm of death.
Hold on. I think I'm seeing something else here. Why not? Because I think I found something else here. Because I got all my computer screen working up here. I think this is the full song right here. So I stand corrected. Let's go ahead and listen to it again. Sabaton History. The Diary of an Unknown Soldier. Oh, there's the Lost Battalion, I see. I think we've listened to the Lost Battalion, but you know what? Since it's Christmas, a Merry Christmas.
I remember the Argonne, 1918. The sounds of that battle still haunt me to this day. Machine gun fire from enemy lines. The sickening sound of a bayonet tearing through human flesh. A soldier next to me firing his sidearm in desperation. All these sounds still echo in my mind, but as conducted by Death himself, it all comes together as music. A rhythm of death. A symphony of war.
They made their stand, they stood strong, and the legend still lives on. on. Our battalion is lost in the Argonne. Under fire, there's nothing they can do. There's no way they can get a message through. Suffer heavy losses as the battle carries on. Liberty division standing strong. On their land as they made their stand, a disregarded demand. It's surrender or die and the stakes are high. They live and they die, there's no time for goodbye. Weapon in hand as they made their stand, still disregarding demand. They would never comply, they would rather die. Now through the blockade they were finally saved. Friendly fire munitions running low. The supplies they were dropped upon their foe. 1918, the war still rages on. The battalions still trapped in the Argonne. Chose not to surrender. They chose victory or defeat. Fallen brothers resting by their feet. On their land as they made their stand, a disregarded demand. It's surrender or die and the stakes are high. They live and they die, there's no time for goodbye. Weapon in hand as they made their stand, still disregarding demand. They would never comply, they would rather die. Now through the blockade they were finally saved. On their land as they made their stand, a disregarded demand. It's surrender or die and the stakes are high. If or die you can tell there's no goodbye. With a weapon in hand as they made their stand, still disregarding demand. They would never comply, they would rather die. They stood strong and the legend still lives on. Suffered heavy losses through the great war they stood strong. But the memory of the fallen still lives on. On their land as they made their stand, a disregarded demand. It's surrender or die and the stakes are high. They live and they die, there's no time for goodbye. Weapon in hand as they made their stand, still disregarding demand. They would never comply, they would rather die. Now through the blockade they were finally saved.
Beautiful. All right, here, folks. All right. Well, this video was filmed on Christmas Day, and I hope all of you are well and taking care of the people you love and care about. For all my fellow veterans, brothers and sisters out there, please take good care of yourselves. May 2024 be a successful year for all of you. May it be a year of much success for everyone to continue to grow, to expand, to be strong, to be smart. This year's been a little rough on me. I personally lost my grandfather, and I also have another family member going through some health issues too, and people close to me who are dealing with other things. And it's just been an emotional roller coaster, up and downs, with a lot of left hooks and right hooks. And I just want to say I want to thank all of you for helping us out build this channel up, but also more importantly to all of you, listen, we love checking out these videos. We love getting our learn on. But as a favor for me, you can make 2 minutes out of your time to support the original content creators if you haven't done so already. Come on, folks. It's the one thing to do. You know it's the right thing to do. So please do it. Check them out. Original links are in the description box below. Drink water. Take good care of yourselves. And, boy, this is the video that got me. It was one hell of a right hook, one hell of a left hook, and a gut check. But hey, we all can't be stoic forever. We have to have some emotion here and there. Otherwise, we're not human. Until then, take good care. All the best. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. That's in order.